whatever, okay? The winning team gets the candy. And you can decide to either hog it all for yourselves, or you could be nice and let everybody in the room share it one way or the other. Got a little chocolate up here, got some suckers, got some Starburst. So the winning team gets control of the candy. Sound good? All right. By the way, I will post these questions on Icon if you want to see them later, so you don't have to furiously write them down if you don't want to. I will not post the answers, however. So you being here right now, it's a good idea so that you know the answers. All right. So team number 1, that's you guys over here. Team number 2, that's you guys in the middle. Team number 3, that's you guys over here. All right? And of course the rest of you, don't give the answer away. You don't want to give them points. You want the candy more than they do, right? And you guys who aren't voting can help me decide what the majority answer was. So you guys can help me kind of do just a rough count and see, did most of them pick the right choice or not? All right? So here is question 1. I'll read all 4 answers. I think one of them has 5 possible answer choices. I'll read all answers first, and then I'll have you guys close your eyes and vote. So here we go. Question 1. What is the primary waste product removed? It's not on. Whoops. You pushed this one. Okay. That's fine. And we'll even put this one on here so everybody can see. All right, what is the primary waste product removed by the kidneys, and where is it produced? So choice A is glucose from the pancreas, urea from the liver, salts from the kidney, or old red blood cells from the spleen. So this goes to group 1 over here. You guys ready? You know which answer you're going to choose? Okay, close your eyes because I don't want you to see how your partners are voting. Who thinks that it's choice A, glucose? Who thinks choice B, urea? Who thinks choice C, salts? Who thinks choice D, old red blood cells? All right, the correct answer was, this thing should come up like that, urea. And I saw the majority of you voted for urea. Remember that urea is made from breakdown of excess amino acids. And that's done by the liver. Eventually the kidneys eliminate that urea, but it's actually made in the liver. All right, so far so good? Okay, question number 2. Which part of the urinary system carries urine from the bladder to the exterior of the body? And this will be for you guys here in the middle. Is it A, the nephron, B, the kidney, C, ureter, or D, urethra? All right, everybody pick which answer you're going to choose. Close your eyes. Who thinks it's A, the nephron, B, the kidney, C, the ureter, D, the urethra? All right, the correct answer was the urethra. A few of you did vote for ureter. Remember, ureters carry urine between the kidney and the bladder. It's the urethra which actually carries it to outside of the body. Okay? Potentially you might have to know the function of any of those parts. What's the job of the kidney? What's the job of the nephron, etc., etc. All right, you guys ready? Team 3 is up. Which blood vessel removes filtered blood from the kidney? Is it A, the renal vein, B, the renal artery, C, the glomerulus, or D, the hepatic portal vein? You guys ready? You know what you're going to vote for? Okay, close your eyes. Who thinks it's A, the renal vein? Who thinks it's B, the renal artery? How about C, the glomerulus? How about D, hepatic portal vein? All right, it looked like most of you got this one right. The correct answer was the renal vein. So the renal artery is bringing blood that needs to be filtered into the kidney. Renal vein takes it back out. What does the glomerulus do? Anybody know that one? What's a where is that glomerulus? What's its job? What's that? The nephron, right? What'd you say? In the nephron, right? What's it actually do? Filters, that's what I'm looking for. So the glomerulus is where it's filtered, actually. Hepatic portal vein has nothing to do with the kidneys. That has to do with the digestive system. All right, back to group 1 over here. So we sort of gave it away, didn't we? This is going to be easy. I forgot that was my next question. In which blood vessel does filtration of blood occur? If you get this wrong, you were sleeping. A, the renal vein. B, the renal artery. C, the glomerulus. Or D, the hepatic portal vein. Close your eyes. Who thinks it's A, the renal vein? How about B, the renal artery? C, the glomerulus? Or D, the hepatic portal vein? Yeah, I gave that one away. So the correct answer is, in fact, the glomerulus. And I think what Brittany was trying to think of when she said it's in the kidney, it's in that nephron, it's in the part called Bowman's capsule. So you've got Bowman's capsule that surrounds the glomerulus net of capillaries, and the glomerulus is very porous. And so you have filtration through those pores of the wastes and other stuff from the blood. All right? Everybody remember that? Hopefully. It's a long time ago. Okay, next question. Group 2 is on deck here. When fluids leave the proximal tubule, which part of the nephron do they flow into next? Is it A, the collecting duct, B, the distal tubule, C, Bowman's capsule, or D, the loop of Henle? All right, so figure out what you want to vote for. Close your eyes, group 2. If you want to vote for A, the collecting duct, raise your hand. A vote for B, the distal tubule. A vote for C, Bowman's capsule. A vote for D, the loop of Henle. Oh, majority wins. The correct answer was, in fact, the loop of Henle. So the correct order for those structures, blood flows first into Bowman's capsule in the glomerulus, then the proximal tubule, then the loop of Henle, then the distal tubule, then the collecting duct is very last. All right? And potentially you might have a question like this where you might need to know what's next after any of the parts. All right? Ready for the next one, Team 3? All right. In which region of the kidney does secretion, which means removal of drugs and toxins for blood, occur? Is it A, the loop of Henle, B, the proximal tubule, C, the distal tubule, or D, Bowman's capsule? Are you ready? Figured out what you want to vote for yet? Close your eyes, group 3. If you want to vote for secretion in the loop of Henle, A, raise your hand. B, the proximal tubule. C, the distal tubule. Or D, Bowman's capsule. All right, it looks like the majority had that one. I forgot, the collecting duct is also a choice. Oh well, obviously it wasn't the collecting duct. The majority had that. It was, in fact, the distal tubule. So the distal tubule is one other place where things actually enter the nephron besides Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus. And you get rid of things like, if you're taking penicillin or something like that, that gets filtered out of your blood. Or if you're smoking pot, that kind of stuff gets filtered out of your blood as well. Other toxins and so forth in your blood. Okay? So far, so good? You guys are doing well. See, the majority of you, if you were taking this as a test, you'd be doing really, really well. Group Group 1, you're on deck again here. I don't know who's going to get the candy. In which region of the kidney, you've got two easy questions in a row here. In which region of the kidney does filtration occur? Is it A, the loop of Henle, B, the proximal tubule, C, the distal tubule, or D, Bowman's capsule, or E, the collecting duct? All right? So figure out where you think filtration happens. That is, the wastes and so forth are filtered out of the blood. You ready? Close your eyes. A vote for loop of Henle, choice A. How about B, the proximal tubule? C, the distal tubule? D, Bowman's capsule? Or E, the collecting duct? Yeah, looks like majority got it. It was, in fact, choice D, Bowman's capsule, where the filtration occurs, because that's where the glomerulus capillaries are at, where blood gets filtered. All right. Sometimes somebody's got to miss an answer so that, we don't have the same number of points. I know. Some of them get harder later. Group 2. Which two substances are reabsorbed from the nephron at the loop of Henle? Is it A, water and salts, B, glucose and amino acids, C, drugs and toxins, or D, urea and water? All right, you guys ready? Close your eyes, group 2. If you want to vote for A, water and salts, if you want to vote for B, glucose and amino acids, choice C, drugs and toxins, choice D, urea and water. Oh, you guys are too smart. So it is, in fact, water and salts. Which part of the kidney does that loop of Henle pass through? Is it the cortex, the medulla, the pelvis? The medulla, and the medulla is very salty, right? And so, of course, you've got water moving out because of osmosis, and the salts are there because they help keep that salt gradient in the medulla. Okay? So potentially you might be asked what happens at any of the different regions of the nephron. You might be asked where these different things occur and so forth. So be aware of that. All right. Oh, I just gave this away a minute ago. Group 3, by what mechanism does water leave the loop of Henle? Don't want to cheat you out of the point. All right. Is it A, diffusion, B, osmosis, C, blood pressure, or D, active transport that causes water to leave the loop of Henle? You guys ready? Group 3, close your eyes. If you're voting for diffusion, A, raise your hand. If you're voting for osmosis, B, raise your hand. If you're voting for C, blood pressure, raise your hand. If you're voting for D, active transport, raise your hand. Come on, don't make her vote for the wrong thing. That's mean. All right, you guys are right. Osmosis, that makes sense, right? Because osmosis is diffusion of water. Most of the time when water moves across membranes, it moves by osmosis. We talked about another force that can sometimes cause water to move, and it is, in fact, blood pressure, but that doesn't usually happen in the nephron. Moves by blood pressure out of the blood capillaries, and we'll talk more about that later. But mostly movement of water is going to be osmosis. All right, group 1 again. Don't want to forget your points. Next, which of these hormones does not cause blood pressure to increase? Choice A, ADH or antidiuretic hormone. Choice B, ACE or angiotensinogen converting enzyme. Choice C, ANH or atrial natriuretic hormone. Or choice D, aldosterone. You're looking for one that does not cause blood pressure to increase. Close your eyes, group 1. If you vote for ADH, antidiuretic hormone, raise your hand. How about choice B, ACE, angiotensinogen converting enzyme? Choice C, ANH, atrial natriuretic hormone. You guys don't have your eyes closed. Choice D, aldosterone. Looks like most of you got the right one, which is ANH, atrial natriuretic hormone. And that name, atrial, comes from the atria of the heart. So we have little stretch receptors in the heart, and whenever there's too much blood volume flowing through there, stretches the heart, and we release ANH. ANH actually inhibits renin and aldosterone, which both make blood pressure go up. So ANH causes blood pressure to go down instead. Okay? Remember that ADH, antidiuretic hormone, that would also have an effect of increasing blood pressure because it's going to cause more water to be retained, not be lost with the urine. Angiotensinogen converting enzyme made in the lungs is actually going to cause angiotensinogen to become a form that constricts the blood vessels. You're going to close off the diameter of the blood vessels. That'll make blood pressure go up as well. Aldosterone increases salt reabsorption. All right, another point. Okay, enzyme. It's a trick question. Okay. Group 2, well, yeah, that's okay. Group 2, renin is made in the blank and raises blood pressure by blank. So is it made in the pituitary gland and it decreases the amount of water lost in urine? Choice B, made in the adrenal gland and it increases salt reabsorption from the nephron. Made in the thymus gland and it increases the number of red blood cells produced. Or made in the kidney, which causes a conversion of angiotensinogen into a vasoconstricting form. You guys ready? Close your eyes. Okay, vote for choice A, pituitary gland, decreasing water in urine. Choice B, adrenal gland, increasing salt reabsorption. Choice C, thymus gland, increasing red blood cells. Or choice D, kidney, causing conversion of angiotensinogen. There were a few of you that were unsure about that one, but I think the majority got that correct. The right answer was D, the kidney. And an easy way to remember that one is that if you hear the word renal, it refers to the kidney. So renin is this substance made in the kidney. It also stimulates aldosterone. All right. Come on, somebody's got to get a wrong question. Wrong answer. All right. Group 3. High blood pressure or hypertension is likely to have which of these effects on kidneys? A, damage to the glomerulus. B, blockage of a ureter. C, frequent bacterial infections in the urethra. Or D, buildup of urea in blood. All right. Team 3, close your eyes. Who votes for A, damage to glomerulus? B, blockage of a ureter. C, bacterial infections in the urethra. Or D, buildup of urea in the blood. You guys aren't closing your eyes very well. Looks like the majority of you had that, and that's because filtration occurs by blood pressure. You've got blood being forced into the glomerulus, and small substances are going to be filtered out of the blood. If you've got really high blood pressure forcing its way into those glomerulus capillaries, it can damage them. It can actually increase the size of the pores. All right. Team 1 again. This is a pretty easy one. Which structure carries air between the pharynx and the bronchi? Is it the nasopharynx, choice A, the trachea, choice B, the bronchioles, choice C, or alveoli, choice D? All right, team 1, close those eyes. If you want to choose choice A, nasopharynx, raise your hand. Choice B, trachea, raise that hand. Choice C, bronchioles, raise it high. Choice D, alveoli, raise your hand. All right, trachea is the winner. So the trachea is actually where you carrying air down from your throat down into the lungs. Okay. Where do you actually get exchange of gases between air and blood? Anybody know which one that is? Amelia?
The alveoli.
The alveoli, right? So the alveoli are the air sacs in the lungs where the gas exchange actually occurs. All right, team 2. What kinds of protections from the environment are found in the respiratory tract? So you're breathing in all this junk all the time. You're breathing in bacteria and pollen and fungal spores and dirt. What keeps those things from getting into your lungs? Is it A, the larynx is designed to expel foreign objects whenever you talk? B, you have a large number of white blood cells there all the time to kill pathogens. C, alveoli contain fluid to trap foreign objects. Or D, the tract is lined with cilia, mucus-producing cells. Are you ready? Close your eyes, team 2. All right, raise them high for choice A, the larynx expels foreign objects. Choice B, you got a lot of white blood cells in there. Choice C, the alveoli contain fluid. Choice D, the tract is lined with cilia and mucus-producing cells. Yeah, majority gets it. The respiratory tract is lined with cilia and goblet cells that produce mucus. If you happen to have fluid in your alveoli, you probably have pneumonia, and you don't want that. So choice C would not be a good situation if that were in fact true. All right, team 3. What causes air to move in and out of the lungs? Is it A, a change in temperature in the lungs, B, a change in air pressure in the lungs, C, a change in blood pressure in the lungs, or D, cilia sweep air in and out of the lungs? All right, ready to vote? Team 3, close those eyes. If you think that it's A, a temperature change that causes air to move in and out, raise your hand. If you think it's B, an air pressure change, raise your hand. If you think it's C, a blood pressure change, raise your hand. If you think it's D, cilia doing all the work, raise your hand. All right, looks like most of you got that. You change the air pressure in your lungs. Do you know how you do that? How can you change air pressure in your lungs? What? Yeah, the diaphragm. So the diaphragm is at the bottom of your thoracic cavity, your chest cavity, and it moves up and down as you breathe. So if your diaphragm moves down, that's going to increase the space in your lungs and drop the air pressure. If your diaphragm moves back up, it decreases the space in the lungs increases the pressure inside, and air wants to go out to where it's lower outside your body. So you change the air pressure actually by changing the volume of your lung space inside there. You change the size of your thoracic cavity with the diaphragm. All right. When you inhale, what happens to the diaphragm? So specifically just inhaling. Let's see, we're on this group right now. All right. Team 1, is it A, the diaphragm contracts, B, the diaphragm relaxes, C, it's in a partial state of contraction called muscle tone, or D, it moves upward? Are you ready? All right, close your eyes. If you want to vote for A, it contracts, raise your hand. If you're voting for B, it relaxes, raise your hand. If you're voting for C, it's in this partial state of contraction, raise your hand. Or D, it moves upwards, raise your hand. Okay, I think majority got that one. A few people weren't sure whether it was contracted or relaxed. I want you all to try something really fast. Inhale and hold your breath for a second. Does your diaphragm feel like it's contracted or relaxed? You can feel that tightness in there, right? It's definitely contracted. And it moves downwards to increase the size of your chest cavity when you're inhaling. And it drops the blood pressure inside. Okay? So that diaphragm's contracted. Ready, team 2? Next question. What do we call the process when oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged between air and blood in the lungs? Is it A, breathing, B, cell respiration, C, internal respiration, or D, external respiration? You ready to vote? All right, you're exchanging oxygen between air and blood. Close your eyes. Is it A, breathing? Is it B, cell respiration? Is it C, internal respiration? Is it D, external respiration? All right, what do you think? Which one did they vote most for, guys? I think they were kind of torn between internal and external respiration. What's the right answer? It is, in fact, D, external respiration. So breathing is just the process of moving the air in and out. Cell respiration is that process we talked about way early on in the semester where you're breaking down glucose to make ATP. That's happening within your cells. Internal respiration is exchange between your capillaries and your tissue capillaries in your cells. External respiration is what's happening in your lungs because you're exchanging between the external environment, essentially. All right. Did they get it? What do you guys think? No? Okay. Okay, you finally have an uneven number of points. All right. Team 3. In the pulmonary capillaries of the lungs, where does carbon dioxide move? All right. Is it moving A, into the bloodstream, B, out of the bloodstream, C, both in and out of the bloodstream, or D, it moves nowhere? Carbon dioxide remains in the inhaled air. All right, where does carbon dioxide go? All right, close your eyes, team 3. Vote for choice A, into the bloodstream. Choice B, out of the bloodstream. Choice C, both in and out. And choice D, nowhere. I think most of you got this right. It's going to be moving out of the bloodstream. So the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the blood is high. It's coming back from your tissues. It picked up a whole bunch of carbon dioxide waste. And the air that you inhale, it has a low partial pressure of carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide diffuses out of the bloodstream. All right. Next, back to team 1 again. By what mechanism does oxygen enter the bloodstream in the lungs? So you know you breathe in air, it's got lots of oxygen in it, it's going into your bloodstream. How does it do that? Is it A, osmosis, B, active transport, C, forced in by air pressure, or D, diffusion? All right, how does oxygen get into the blood? Close your eyes, team 1. Is it A, osmosis, B, active transport, C, forced in by air pressure, or D, diffusion? All right, few people said active transport, but it's just diffusion because it's moving from where it's higher in concentration, or the higher partial pressure in the air, into the bloodstream where it has a lower partial pressure. So simple movement from high to low is diffusion, and oxygen's pretty small, so it doesn't need much help getting across the membrane. All right, team 2. How does oxygen move through the bloodstream? Is it A, in the form of bicarbonate, B, dissolved in plasma, C, carried by erythrocytes, or D, carried by thrombocytes? You ready to vote? All right, close your eyes, team 2. Is oxygen in the form of bicarbonate? Choice A. Is oxygen dissolved in plasma? Choice B. Is it carried by erythrocytes? Choice C. Is it carried by thrombocytes? Choice D. Okay, I saw some people vote for all 4 answers that time around. I think it looked like the majority got the right answer, but it's carried by erythrocytes. What's the more common name for erythrocytes? Red blood cells. Red blood cells carry oxygen. That's their job. Yep. What actually moves around in the form of bicarbonate? CO2, carbon dioxide, moves that way. A little bit of CO2 dissolved in the plasma as well. What are thrombocytes? They're cells that become platelets, yeah, so they don't have anything to do with carrying anything around. All right. Okay. Team 3, which respiratory disorder is caused by reaction to the tubercle bacillus bacterium, and it's something that causes a lot of coughing typically? Is it A, bronchitis, B, that's not the right answer, I don't know how that answer got there. Ignore choice B. C, emphysema, D, tuberculosis. All right, are we on team 3 here? Choice B was supposed to be something totally different. I don't know where that came from. All right, close your eyes, team 3. Do you think it's A, bronchitis? Is it choice C, emphysema? Is it choice D, tuberculosis? All right, I think most of you got that. I think I had pneumonia here, and I don't know what happened to it. Somehow got cut and pasted wrong. But tuberculosis is right. It's named after that bacterium. All right. Team 1, which of these is not considered a formed element in blood? Is it fibrinogen, leukocytes, platelets, or red blood cells? Which one's not a formed element? All right, team 1, close your eyes. A vote for A, fibrinogen. A vote for B, leukocytes. A vote for C, platelets. A vote for D, red blood cells. I think most of you got it, but a few people maybe weren't sure what leukocytes were. Fibrinogen's the right answer here. This is a protein involved in blood clotting. It's normally found in plasma rather than the formed elements. The 3 formed elements are leukocytes, or white blood cells, platelets, or the red blood cells, or erythrocytes. All right. Team 2, which of these structures is primarily involved in blood clotting? Easy question. Choice A, antibodies. Choice B, leukocytes. Choice C, platelets. Choice D, red blood cells. You guys ready to vote? All right, close your eyes. Talking about blood clotting. Is it A, antibodies? Is it B, leukocytes? Is it C, platelets? Is it D, red blood cells? Okay, I think everybody knew that one. Platelets are involved in clotting. Antibodies and leukocytes both have to do with the immune system responses. Red blood cells, nothing to do with clotting other than getting stuck in the clot, really. All right, team 3. Which hormone causes more red blood cells to be made in the bone marrow? Is it A, angiotensinogen, B, human growth hormone, C, erythropoietin, or D, insulin? You ready to vote? Team 3, close your eyes. Vote for angiotensinogen, choice A. Human growth hormone, choice B. Erythropoietin, choice C. Insulin, choice D. I think most of you got that one right. It's actually erythropoietin because it stimulates erythrocytes to be formed, which are red blood cells. These other things are for different functions. Angiotensinogen has to do with raising blood pressure and other functions for the other hormones. All right. Team 1. Let's just do one more question each because I want to give Dr. Denberg some time here. I'm kind of gone over my limit here. Yeah? And I'll post the questions online so you guys can see them anyway. So, Team 1. What's the main job of hemoglobin? Is it A, blood clotting, B, carrying oxygen, C, fighting infections, or D, stimulating production of more white blood cells? You guys ready to vote? Close your eyes, Team 1. If you vote for hemoglobin doing blood clotting, choice A, raise your hand. Carrying oxygen, choice B. Fighting infections, choice C. Or stimulating production of white blood cells, choice D. Okay, you guys just about all got that right. Hemoglobin is involved in carrying oxygen. It's a protein found in red blood cells. Okay. Team 2. What's it called when an Rh negative mother makes antibodies against the Rh factor in her Rh positive fetus's blood? Is it called A, hemolytic anemia of newborns, B, pernicious anemia, C, sickle cell anemia, or D, pediatric leukemia? You guys ready? Team 2, close your eyes. Is it choice A, hemolytic anemia? Choice B, pernicious anemia? Choice C, sickle cell anemia? Choice D, pediatric leukemia? I think most of you got it right. I saw a few choices for B and C, but it is actually hemolytic anemia. Hemolysis means the blood cells are burst by the interaction with the mom's antibodies. Pernicious anemia is caused by lack of what? Iron. If you don't have enough iron, you can't make hemoglobin. Sickle cell anemia is an inherited mutation in hemoglobin. Leukemia is cancer of white blood cells. All right, Team 3. Which of these statements is false? Movement of blood through veins is primarily the result of skeletal muscle contractions. B, veins have thinner walls than arteries. C, blood pressure is lowest in the capillaries. Or D, arteries contain valves to prevent backflow of blood. So think about that for just a second. You're looking for the false statement. All right, Team 3, close your eyes. Is it choice A, movement through veins is caused by muscle contractions? Is it B, veins have thinner walls than arteries? Is it C, blood pressure is lowest in capillaries? Is it D, arteries contain valves? Yeah, why is that false? You guys had it right, it was choice D. Why is that false? Where do you find valves in blood vessels? In the veins. Yeah, veins have valves, arteries don't. Otherwise, those were all true statements. So make sure you know, I think I had in my study guide questions, you may have to know a number of other differences between arteries and veins and capillaries. Where is blood pressure high? Where is blood pressure low? How does blood move through the arteries, or how does it move through the veins, and so forth. Okay? So I want to stop and make sure to give you guys some time to ask questions of Dr. Denberg as well. I'll put the rest of the questions that I prepared online. So looks like Team 1 and Team 3 had a tie. What do you guys want to do with the candy? You want to, split it up between you guys, or do we give these poor guys in the middle some candy? Split it? Okay. So take a piece of candy, pass it around, and it'll hopefully get to the back in just a little bit. I want my bags back at the end, though, please. Can you read?
Okay, I don't have any questions to ask you. You got to ask me. Other than that, there is a quiz that's been posted. It's accessible as of tonight.
As of Monday, I think.
Oh, as of Monday. So there's a quiz posted with 10 questions on my first 2 lectures on the skeletal and muscle systems.
Due on Friday.
Due on Friday. Due tonight. Do it tonight. And as soon as you can do it, the better, because it's the kind of review questions you would get here. So, who has any questions about anything that I covered in my lectures? Yes?
Are your guys' chapters split up evenly, like half and half of the exams?
Yes.
How many lectures did you have? 4?
I had 4, you have 4.
4 and 4. She's got 25 questions. I have 25 questions. No?
They're different topics, obviously. So there's still 50 questions, 2 points apiece, multiple choice. They're similar to I did the first exam, so they're similar with 5 choices each for the answers.
Yeah. The characteristics of what? If you think it's important. Yeah. What did I say? What did I announce in class? Most 90+% from the notes. There could be some parts or a question that are from the readings. Most of the questions will be from the notes. No questions? I assume you all, my lectures were so clear that you all understood everything? Oh, we'll see. We'll see on the test. Okay.